We know social media can shape our career and or paths, but how does it affect how satisfied we are with the jobs that we already have?
Yeah, exactly. Like job satisfaction isn't just about the paycheck. It's also about whether your work feels meaningful.
Mhm.
And social media can totally.
There's something that it's called the shiny object syndrome,
Okay.
and it's really interesting, and it's just like how you think people have the perfect life, have um everything that they wanted, like they, how do you call that in English, like lo manifested, they manifested and then they will have it. Now that we're starting a new year, most people are like into that manifesting um process, and they seem
Right.
like in TikTok, on in Instagram, they make it seem so easily and so simple to accomplish that it's what we've been talking about. It's really actually unrealistic.
Nowadays, we depend a lot on technology for our social needs, and we forget that we need to go out there and really talk to real people. It's a whole kind of different interaction. And for, people from older generations, that seems like obvious, but younger people are really growing up and they're being raised with technology and with social media at this level, and it's so different. It is so different. It's
Definitely.
we can't even grasp, like I couldn't even say how impactful that will be on their lives.
Welcome to the Hard Hot Podcast, your go-to guide for mastering remote work and advancing your career.
Whether you're in Latin America or anywhere in the world, we're here to equip you with tools and insights you need to thrive in today's job market.
I am Jess Torres.
And I'm Gaby Morales. Let's dive in and unlock the endless possibilities of remote work.
Hey Gabby, have you ever scrolled through LinkedIn or Instagram and thought, am I even in the right career?
Yeah, I've been there. I mean, one moment it's remote work paradise, and then it's grind till you shine. It's overwhelming, actually.
Yeah, exactly. And social media makes it like look easy to compare yourself with others, especially when it feels like everyone else it's landing dream jobs or building unicorn startups. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, but really, like, how much of it is it real?
Hmm.
Like, and how does constantly seeing other people's highlights affect our own career choices and our satisfaction?
Yeah, great questions. And that's why we're diving into today. We'll explore about how social media influences the way that we think about our jobs and careers, for better or for worse. We've got data, opinions, and even some spicy debates lined up for you.
Yep, so stick around because this episode might just change the way you scroll and the way you work.
Yep, that's true. So, we can start and let's get real.
Yeah, so social media gives us a front row seat to other people's career highlights. But is this really helping us grow or just stressing us out?
That's a great question. So, Gabby, did you know that studies show that over 70% of people feel more dissatisfied with their jobs after scrolling and scrolling through social media?
That's wild, but also not surprising. So let's dive into how social media comparisons shape our career perspectives.
Yeah, I have a question for you. So, how does social media fuel career envy or inspiration?
Well, I think there's like this highlight reel effect. Like,
Hmm.
first of all, nowadays the only thing that we consume or like we mostly consume in social media are the reels, the shorts, the
Hmm.
videos, those short vertical videos. So
Hmm.
people post achievements and not struggles, which is fine again because maybe you don't want to post every failure that you have.
Yeah.
But that creates a false sense of everyone else's success, where you're seeing just like that final step and not really the whole process.
Mhm.
and feels it leads to like overvaluing
Mhm.
milestones over growth, right? So I think that's part of it. um I think that social media also fuels career envy or inspiration through like the inspiration factor, actually. Like, you see there's so many opportunities and so many options that it becomes overwhelming.
Mhm.
Like, why am I not doing this? Why am I not doing that?
Mhm.
Like, I've seen these memes and these posts, like,
Yeah.
for a job post, you have to have, you know, you have to be younger than 30, but then you have to have 10 years of experience. It's
Mhm.
like, and it makes
Yeah.
you think like
It's
I should have been
overwhelming.
doing this years ago. I should have been studying this years ago. And it's really not realistic. So it really inspires you to do so many things
Yeah.
that are not realistic, right? And I feel like
Mhm.
nowadays, like, success is also measured through like social currency. Like, it's like a social currency,
Mhm.
like you're successful if you look successful in social media. So I feel like that
Mhm.
also sometimes makes us like not feel unsatisfied with what we're doing. Like, I've had friends that reach out to me and tell me like, it's so awesome you have a podcast, and I'm like, it's a lot of hard
Mhm.
work. It's a lot of hard work. It's a big team. Like, we couldn't do
Mhm.
this just you and I. We couldn't do this individually.
It will be really
Yeah, it
hard.
would be very hard. But people don't see all that behind. They don't see the whole production behind
Mhm.
a simple podcast like this one, because we
Mhm.
can't compare with bigger podcasts. So it's like people
Mhm.
don't really understand like the hard work that goes behind any kind of endeavor that you want to
Mhm.
showcase on social media. And then lastly, and
Yeah.
I do feel like this it's very important to point this out. It's the algorithm. Like, you're always seeing things that you're more in tune with,
Mhm.
not necessarily if they're true. They show up less,
Mhm.
or more. So I feel like
Mhm.
there's a big bias when it comes to the algorithm, in the sense that the more of a lifestyle that you see that you like, the more content that you'll see in that sense.
Mhm.
And I feel like it makes that gap between your aspiration and your reality even bigger, especially
Mhm.
if your reality is not
That's true.
going at as fast a pace as you would see with when comparing yourself to people that maybe have your same age, or in your same career path,
Mhm.
etc. So I feel like it's a big thing. Just, do you think that social media pressures people into maybe like career decisions they wouldn't normally consider?
Definitely. I think a lot of people make their career decisions based on what they look or tend to look in social media. I was investigating it. There's like a concept that it's called hot industries. So a lot of
Okay.
people nowadays are into like tech or crypto, that kind of like it's a new trend chasing kind of thing. Like there are different trends that
Okay.
are or skills that have become a lot more popular throughout the years because of this social media reach. So I think that's a risk, a high risk, because what will happen in the future if most of the careers are chosen or yeah, like based on what people are doing and based on what people are gaining out of their jobs. And I think it's also a risk of burnout from being an authentic in your goals. It's like social media starts by shaping people into the same, like,
Yeah.
oh, trying to make people
It's a
look.
cookie cutter.
Yes, definitely. So everyone will be kind of like the same because an influencer said this or made it this way. And I think
Yeah.
like what you were talking about comparison, and it's about like, oh, I want their lifestyle, but it's not really your passion. That's where the problem comes. And just people want their salaries or their titles or just their lifestyle of the influencers. So, it makes a little bit of like unsatisfied kind of lifestyle that you start having, and people start getting that into your mind, and it's like it's really overwhelming, you know
Yeah.
and so people start like having there's something that it's called the shiny object syndrome.
Okay.
And it's really interesting, and it's just like how you think people have the perfect life, have um everything that they wanted, like they, how do you call that in English, like lo manifested, they manifested and then they will have it. Now that we're starting a new year, most people are like into that manifesting um process, and they seem
Right.
like in TikTok, on in Instagram, they make it seem so easily and so simple to accomplish that it's what we've been talking about. It's really actually unrealistic.
Right.
So I think, and a lot of people also do all of this like career decisions based on the validation of other people, like tied to like validation, sorry, external approval, or just something that it's trending, and they want this feedback from social media, and that affects and impacts like your self-esteem, and it's where you start not feeling
Yeah.
validated for other people, and that's really sad. I think this is the point when we need help, and we need to understand that social media, it's part of the life, but it's not your complete life. And we will recommend you to, if you haven't listened to our last episode, we talked about digital detoxing. It's really interesting because we talked about how it could affect yourself, and this is a really important part of digital detoxing. So we know social media can shape our career and or paths, but how does it affect how satisfied we are with the jobs that we already have?
Yeah, exactly. Like job satisfaction isn't just about the paycheck. It's also about whether your work feels meaningful.
Hmm.
And social media can totally mess with that. So, just in your opinion, how does social media actually distort perceptions of job satisfaction?
Well, I think there's a lot of like success versus fulfillment. It's a really confusing status with the personal fulfillment. Like the perception that you have of happiness is tied to a career achievement, and it devalues less glamorous but meaningful jobs. Example, I don't know, probably being a teacher
Yeah.
um, compared to a tech CEO, like it could be like probably a lot of people will want to have this title of being a tech CEO
Yeah.
rather than a teacher. So, and it's sad because our society needs teachers. So it's like I'm worried, kind of like I'm at this point where I'm trying to think in probably 20 to 50 years what or how the society will look like, knowing that a lot of people want to get this, I don't know, probably career paths like being an influencer, and stop having these really important job careers that are also really helpful for our society. I don't know what's going to happen. It's just an open question. But
Yeah.
also something, it's like curated happiness, like overexposure about these highlight reels or this skews reality, that it's,
Yeah.
it's people that they have a lot of money, and a lot of people that are not having that kind of lifestyle. It can get stressful, but I think the perception could change a lot. And it depends on how strong probably you are, knowing how to divide the reality and social media from one side to another. But I don't know. I,
Hmm.
I just think it could be interesting to investigate what will happen to our next generation with all of these social media lifestyle influencers.
Yeah.
But I have one question for you. What do you think that are the strategies that could help individuals resist social media's navigate impact on this job satisfaction?
Yeah. Well, like you mentioned, like you should check out that previous episode of detoxing from the digital from technology in general, I would say. But
Yeah.
especially your phone and especially social media. So detoxing every once in a while. I just recently eliminated Instagram.
Wow.
For, it's I usually do that at least once a year.
Good. That's
And
good.
I say like I want to focus on other things because I usually do it when I spend too many hours in Instagram at a day, and of course that affects your perception. So I was spending too much time on Instagram. I said like I have to shift towards a more productive social media platform. So I did that. But I would also say you have to be very mentally, like you have to be mentally strong in a sense. Like you have to
Hmm.
have willpower, your own willpower to do things even if they're not comfortable, to do things even if they are not so impressive according to, social media and the influencers and everything. So it's a lot about, you know, maybe following accounts that inspire you and that don't stress you, right? Accounts, people, and that maybe showcase their day to day, like how much they're
Hmm.
working towards their goals, right? Rather
Hmm.
than just the ones that post their achievements. Yeah, diversify your perspectives. Something that sometimes happens to me is that I end up following too many influencers and not enough real people,
Hmm.
real people that I know, that I've studied with, that I've worked with. So every once in a while, I also do that, just eliminate all these accounts that I've been following for some time that really are not benefiting me. And not fear the FOMO, like the fear of missing out. A lot of times you're like, I should have been doing that. I should have been doing this. Like, it wasn't the time or place. You have to make your peace with that. So I would say that. Um, what else would I say? Have real conversations with
Hmm.
real people. Like, I feel
Important.
like nowadays we depend a lot on technology for our social needs, and we forget that we need to go out there and really talk to real people. It's a whole kind of different interaction. And for, people from older generations, that seems like obvious, but younger people are really growing up, and they're being raised with technology and with social media at this level, and it's so different. It is so different.
Mm.
It's
Definitely.
We can't even grasp, like I couldn't even say how impactful that will be on their lives.
Mm.
So I would say, like, let's not forget about what we've been doing for millennia, for for thousands of years, where we socialize and we integrate, and we have real conversations. And then I would say lastly, I would say maybe like professional development, like focus on your professional development
Mm-hmm.
and don't steer away from that, because
Mm.
again, you can get really demotivated
Mm.
quickly if you keep comparing yourself to others and comparing yourself to people that maybe have changed their careers. You don't know their reasons. You don't
Mm-hmm.
know their struggles. Um, so focus on what you want, on how you want to excel, how you want your career to go, and be very clear with that. And also make your peace with the fact that your path is different.
And there is something that I would love to add on to what you said that it's really important. It's building a strong sense of purpose, like
Okay.
reconnecting with your why. Like reflect
Mm,
on why you choose that career path and the
right.
values that it fulfills for you. Like this could help you ground your sense of job satisfaction. Like, why did I start this career? And probably why, like knowing the reason behind your motivations, this can help you a lot. And just setting this personal, like, benchmarks, create those goals now that we're starting the year that are really meaningful to you, rather than comparing yourself to other careers people, like other milestones that people are achieving right now. So I think that's really important. Like
Yeah.
start and reconnect with your why. I think educating ourselves into being true to ourselves, that's going to make people happier than just comparing ourselves with people from social media. And what you say about detoxes, I think scheduling those breaks, like having, like, to disconnect, like periodically, what you
Yeah.
said, disconnect from the social media entirely, really entirely, to reset your mindset and just focus on the career without an influence outside, that someone that wants to influence your life outside, you know? And also what you say, like engaging with other people, that allows you to be offline from your phone. I don't know, just have a time with your friends and family to just engage. And it's really, really, really important to be offline, and take care of the ones that are surrounding you. I don't know if there's
For
something
sure.
else that you would like to add, Gabby.
Yeah, I would say I think that rounds it up. I think that's a great
Yeah.
closure for that question because again, it's like it has to be very tailored to what you want. And again, you have to be very focused. Like you
Mhm.
have to be laser focused on what you want. And only that way that can ensure that you won't feel demotivated from what you're seeing on social media. Something
Yeah.
that really happens to me commonly is like I'm 29 years old and I feel I sometimes see people that are 25 or that are 23
Yeah.
and they're way more successful than me and I'm like what are they doing?
What am I
What are
doing
they
with my
selling?
life?
And what
Yeah.
am I doing? What are they
Yeah.
selling and what am I doing?
All of these marketing booths,
Yeah.
like they're selling, like I'm gonna start doing that. Yeah, but it
Yeah.
has been an amazing conversation, and I hope this opened a lot of people's eyes. It did with mine. I think social media isn't all bad. I think it's
Yeah.
just a tool, but like any tool, it's about how you use it, you know? So yeah, thank you so much for this conversation.
Totally. So, whether it's defining your career path or finding satisfaction in your job, remember that the key is staying true to yourself.
Thanks for listening to the Hard Hop. And if you love this episode, share with someone who's rethinking their career or just needs a little social media reset. And don't forget to follow us on social media. We'll see you next week for another deep dive into the remote work world. And I'm Jess.
And I'm Gabby. Thanks for joining us today. See you next time.
Thanks for tuning into the Hard Hop. If you loved today's episode, subscribe, comment, and share.
Remember, success in remote work is within reach. We've got your back. See you next time.